Y'all pay attention to the draft beyond Shedeur, or is that just
Yeah,
me?
I'm with you, man. You might need to
yeah.
have
I
me
don't know
on
what
your
that is.
episode because Eddie don't know what that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to talk. It's a very relevant topic right now. Basically,
that's when it's
Shedeur
like
Sanders,
breezy
Deion
or
Sanders'
whatever.
son.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really wild. I'm so frustrated. I've never been as disappointed in at least people that comment on my posts than I have with this because it's like, oh, y'all niggas ain't learned shit from me. I got to 1 million subscribers saying some bullshit that wasn't nobody paying attention to. Because clearly, if y'all can't see the racial dynamic to this, then I have failed.
Okay, so what happened? What's the situation? I can't contribute here, but let me facilitate. What happened? What did he
So
do?
Josh was trying to get you right. So just wanted to point that out.
Hey,
Oh,
it's all good.
did he give a cliff notes? I didn't understand.
He was
that.
trying to.
I was
Yeah.
But
trying
no, because
to.
he referenced this another athlete that I don't know. So I
That
was like,
was
all
that's
right, that
also
wasn't for
part of
me.
the context, but please,
so
FD, get them straight.
it starts with slavery.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Okay.
all right.
Let me plug this in.
All right,
real
walk
quick.
me
I
forward.
am
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Baby steps. Okay.
I'm sorry. So Shedeur Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is top 5, top 10 football player of all time, the best to ever do his particular position on the football field. And I would argue the father of our modern concept of black masculine swag. Like that part is important. The way athletes dress and act today in all sports, but especially in football, is built from Deion. Now, Deion got that swag low key from like Muhammad Ali and like a long lineage of black men playing the heel, Rick James, you know what I'm saying? But he elevated it to a point in the early 90s, and like all of us are children of his particular presentation of masculinity. This is important because he actually has real children, one of them being his youngest son, Shedeur, who is also a football player. Deion eventually gets into football coaching and coaches at Colorado. First coaches at HBCU. We'll come back to that. And then goes to coach on at Colorado University. And at that school, at both schools, he has his own son as his quarterback. Quarterback being the most important position in all of sports, I would argue. Like no specific position is more important or valuable to its sport as a quarterback is to other sports. And his son has availed himself to be a top tier quarterback prospect, and he came into this year as a general consensus number 2 quarterback in the draft, which means that he was likely to go in the first round, possibly even in the top 10, at least in the top 20, 25. The nigga didn't get drafted to the 5th round, which is where niggas that don't even make the team sometimes, like niggas that in the 5th round are not even guaranteed to make their team. And nothing like this has ever happened before. And so people, rightfully so, are like, oh, they're trying to humble Shedeur and Deion because Deion's exaggerated black swagger never went away. And Deion has on numerous occasions been not challenging the system, but not really, in my opinion. Like some people give him more credit than I think he deserves as a threat to the system, but they definitely are not humble. They definitely did not go in there on some yes sir, no sir. I'm so happy to be here. All shucks. About to change my life. NFL loves to show, right. NFL loves to show these young black men, single mama there in the draft room, 5 different brothers and sisters, no daddy. They're going to show the background where he riding through his neighborhood and it looked like something from Iraq. And he's like, yeah, I used to ride down that street and the crackheads used to try to, eat my head. Like it's really, they love to show that because they love to
the NFL
that
saved
narrative.
me.
Right. And then then the NFL saved me. Shedeur was like, yeah, where my spot at? And the NFL was like, way back here. And so people are pissed. There's a lot of other stuff there, but that's like, Josh, like, is that sound about right?
Absolutely. Yeah, spot on.
And I get the sense that FD's probably going to tear me apart, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what I'm going to say. So yeah. I think there's 2 sides to this, right? I think that the NFL has consistently shown us who they are in regards to people that they view as having the potential to be bigger than the organization, right? And I think that's especially relevant here when you have somebody who's in the sphere of Deion Sanders because of who Deion Sanders is, right? I think you also have to balance that with the fact that Shedeur Sanders is a middling talent. Let's break down why Shedeur Sanders is a middling talent. And Bomani Jones pointed this out because people have short memories. So Gardner Minshew, middling NFL quarterback, perennial backup, put up more passing yards than Shedeur Sanders, had a better touchdown to interception ratio than Shedeur Sanders, also won the Unitas Award for best quarterback, just like Shedeur Sanders. In 2019, he also did that on a team that was a Pac-12 team, which is the conference that Colorado played in up until 2024, right? So you have a person who has similar but slightly better numbers than Shedeur Sanders. Played in a conference with similar competition to Shedeur Sanders that went in the 6th round. So Shedeur Sanders put up numbers, and a lot of people seem not to realize that like, where was he playing, right? So whatever we think about the quarterbacks they got drafted before him and what they did or didn't do, what they did or what they didn't do was against powerhouse teams. Jackson Dart beat Georgia. Milroe beat Georgia. Right, you got these Oregon guys. That was a play. Dylan Gabriel was a playoff team, right? So you got these guys that are playing against much better competition than Shedeur. And again, there's a history of people being downplayed based on that. Now, I'm not saying that his race didn't come into play with this, because if I were ranking him based on talent, I think he's a 2nd or 3rd rounder.
Yeah, I was going to say that 2nd round.
I think he's a 2nd or 3rd rounder. I think the reason why he slid is the racial shit. But what I also want, and this will be my last point on it, because I do think I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. I also think that when you highlight him as like the only way that like somebody can be a confident black man, and that, the NFL is going to put you down, all that kind of stuff, I do think it does a disservice to Cam Ward. I think it does a disservice to Jaden Daniels. I think it does a disservice to Bryce Young. I think it does a disservice to Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson was 100% also a racial situation. There's a reason why they wanted him to play wide receiver and not quarterback. I think it does a disservice to all of these people who have had decent draft stock, putting up numbers that have, had draft success and NFL success. Like Jaden Daniels is a star, but that's why I think it's nuanced. But all that to say is that I think that if Shedeur had went in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think that would have been fair. I think him slipping to where he slipped is 100% based on the racial implication and the Deion factor.
That's a big ass margin.
All right, somebody ring the bell so me and Alvin can go round 1 on this shit.
Ding, ding. Get into it.
No, actually, no. So I think where Alvin lands overall, I agree.
Do you know about our card game stuff?
Oh, I did see that, but I'm not aware. Ooh. But I know y'all had.
Well, you came to the right place to find out. We've got a new card game called In All Seriousness, which we're taking pre-orders for now. The link and all of that stuff will be in the description. But it's a new format. It's 100 cards instead of just the 50 from the old one, and every single card has 2 prompts on it. It's one that's a serious, intimate, in-depth conversation to help you kind of draw closer to other people through conversation, and another that's just some unserious, dumb fucking bullshit for you to have a little bit of a laugh about. So you get to decide kind of the tone for each moment in the conversation, like we do during the podcast. So look, it's going to ship later on this month. Put in your orders now. Everybody who's a member of the channel, Patreon and YouTube, will get a 10% discount on top of the pre-order discount. So getting your orders, getting your memberships now. And when we ship this thing out, get ready to have some of the deepest and dumbest conversations of your life. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually a really dope idea.
Yeah, we'll send you a pack once it gets printed. It's we've had a slight delay, but start of May.
I'll sneak it into a video at some point in time.
Have we sent you our first card game? The It's a Red Flag.
No.
Oh, yeah, we'll send you.
That's what I think I thought about when I was like, I knew y'all had something.
Been selling that one for a little while, and this is the new one. I'll send you It's a Red Flag one. Yeah.
Okay.
Dope, and then we'll send you this one when this one comes out.
Dope. I'll email you my address. I wasn't heated until he slipped out the 3rd, and yes. Dylan Gabriel got picked before him. A 5'11", 25-year-old journeyman college. How you a journeyman college quarterback? Tyler Shaw, a journeyman college quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And Milroe. When Milroe showed, when Dart went ahead of him, I'm like, hey, them the breaks, nigga. You play the game with these crackers or, take the L. When Show went, I was like, oh, that's dirty work. And then when Gabriel and Millwall went, I was like, oh, where's my hotel at? Where is my alkaline water?
The accolade, yeah.
Right. Now I got to get in there. I got to get in here and defend a rich man's son because it's bigger than that. So I think Alvin hits a lot of good points. I disagree with I thought that was a horrible take. To be honest with you, comparing him to Minshew from Bomani. I expected better from Bomani usually, because it's not so much apples to oranges. There are professionals that do this, right? There's professionals that do this. I went to a draft calculator 3000 site, and it's an aggregate site, 200 different board rankings, over 1,000 draft boards. Everybody had Shedeur as number 2 behind Cam. And like these aren't like us doing like a fantasy draft as friends goofing off on Facebook or some shit. These are journalists, right? These are analysts, and they all found that. And Minshew, they didn't have that for him. And like there's always been inflated stats depending on what school you go to, but that's why people look at other things and the things that Shedeur has. Is he gonna like? Did they let Jaden Daniels sit to the 5th round? No. Did they let Kirk Cousins slip to the 5th round? No. Kirk Cousins actually went in the 4th, but that was also like a different era. But like if people would have known Kirk Cousins would be what he is now and said you can get that in the 2nd round, they were like, nah, we'll take it in the 5th because we don't like this nigga. Does that kind of make sense? You know Kirk Cousins is Eddie. Eddie is zoned out. Eddie is on Marvel Rivals.
I was dissociated. I went to my happy place. But I could tell from y'all's tonal shifts that y'all were really getting it in.
I do think me and Alvin overall agree in that the diagnosis is nigga got too big for his britches compared to his actual talent. And there's more things to dig in with there. But I also want to clarify, because Alvin also makes another good point in that I'm not saying that Shedeur's confident and like they don't like a confident black man. I'm saying Shedeur's an asshole and probably a dickhead. And when you're an asshole and a dickhead and you're in the NFL and you're good, that's still a 2nd round pick. That's still a 3rd round pick, especially if you're a quarterback. When you're an asshole and you're a dickhead and you're black and your father has shown a propensity to poke a little bit at these powers that be in the status quo of these systems, and you're not coming in there saying you're going to kowtow and play the game, then you fall to the 5th round. And did you see the Browns room? It felt like they were forced to do that. Did y'all see that? The image?
People said it looked like they were watching a execution.
It did. It was wild. They looked
like
so
no smiles. They said,
like, all right, it's over. We did it.
Yo, FD, did you see the interview with the GM and the coach after they drafted him?
No. Is it
Bro,
worse?
they were saying some wild shit, man. Like they were like, so the question the reporter asked them was, what was the first conversation with Shedeur Sanders like? And they were like, yeah, man, this guy just seemed real relieved, really humbled, really ready to work. We had to let him know that, there's no free lunch here. You just got to come in ready to work just like everybody else. I'm like, I watch a lot of draft coverage. I've been watching draft coverage consistently since I was fucking 13 years old. I have never heard anybody come like that hard with that kind of rhetoric with anybody. That was when it kind of hit me in the face. The way they were talking about the conversations that they were having, like with this guy. Usually it's more along the lines of like, yeah, man, they said they were really excited about playing. We're going to get him in camp. And, that number doesn't matter. And we're going to keep it going. They were like, yeah, man, I think he really understands what he needs to do in this league. And, he's got to come ready to work. And I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, that was when it landed for me.
I think he understands his place now. Mm-hmm. So we'll let him in. We promise not to cut him before preseason. Let me share my screen real quick. Hold up. So you can see. And they got a black GM too. Yeah. Like you could already.
He was the one saying this shit. He was the one saying this shit in the interview.
All right. Can y'all see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang. The black dude don't even look like he's supposed to be there. He looks superimposed.
Dude in the back is like keeping the cover in his mouth. He's in shock. Oh God.
Wow.
So yeah, that's.
I mean, then the fucking Browns. Who want to go to Cleveland?
You're Browns, y'all,
disrespect it.
and that's the other. Well, I'm Josh. I'm gonna let you take this one because you know where I'm about to go. Like the irony of the Browns having like indignity about taking Shedeur Sanders.
Right, exactly. I mean, because who the fuck is trying to go to Cleveland? LeBron got the hell up out of that damn city when he had to take his talents to South Beach, baby. But like, you know, one good thing about this is I heard someone say that this actually might be a blessing for Shedeur because instead of going like, you know, the first round, going to like a really, really shitty team, like as a first round like savior, now that pressure is off his back. Like he don't have to worry about trying to save a team and having that expectation on him. So that gives him a little bit more wiggle room and leeway to actually develop his game in the NFL instead of having all this pressure. But you know, it's Shedeur Sanders, so the eyes are already going to be on him, especially to see how he's going to perform after this debacle of a draft. But you know, not going first or second might have been a blessing too.
But no, you missed the thing I was trying to allude to is that
you were talking about Watson.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like, so imagine having that face for taking Shedeur Sanders, and y'all are paying. What's the official? What is the official case? I want to be. Because niggas be niggas love to actually me when I get to y'all channel in particular. I get actually everywhere.
But specifically here,
the actually be extra hard.
That's crazy.
It's civil sexual assault / rape allegations.
Adjudicated, settled cases for civil sexual assault. Settled for however much money. 26 different accusers.
And counting.
And counting.
They keep coming out.
Yeah. And the majority of them are, and it's like, I don't want to get into credible, incredible, right? When we're talking about that many people, but a lot of them had the same exact story. And like, when you get that situation, like when we get to this, when we get to Shannon Sharp, because I guarantee you, we about to get a list at some point in time with Uncle Shannon. But like, so that they gave him, after a year off, a $280 million guaranteed contract. That had never happened in the league ever in the history of the NFL. Has somebody got a guaranteed contract of that size after his sexual assault cases were settled, and he proceeded to be trashed for the last 3 years. Is it 3 years now he's been trashed?
That one, I mean, this last one is the closest like the real playing time he had. I think he played 8 games this year.
Yeah, he's been hurt, and when he hasn't been hurt, he's been trashed.
Yes,
and so that's one thing that I know a lot of people bring up first is that we're talking about the NFL, and it's like, if the attitude is, oh, you're a character concern, you're a distraction concern, et cetera, right. But, you know, as Alvin said, we're talking about the NFL showing you who they are. They've never been distracted by violence against women. They've never been distracted by sexual misconduct. Another Cleveland Brown, Kellen Winslow Jr., was like watching porn in the middle of like team bus rides and jerking off in the middle of team bus rides while he was with the team. I think he actually passed away, sadly. He obviously had something really, really wrong with him. Oh no, he didn't pass away. He sexually assaulted an elderly woman. It's in jail.
But there's a lot of people without questionable.
That was a crazy thing to confuse.
I know,
it's like,
I think he might have died. No, yeah, an old woman. Now he's in jail. My fault.
Those two things are not. That's like that news anchor who was just like, "Oh, he's gay." Wait, no, he's not gay. He's blind. That's what that reminds me of. Oh no, he didn't die. He sexually assaulted an old lady, which is serious. Not to make that funny, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but like and again, and I know I'm speaking on both sides of my mouth, but I'm trying to represent the nuance. But like Mike Green got drafted. You know what I mean? Right. Justin Tucker is still on the NFL roster. There are countless people that we can go back and
Roethlisberger finished his whole career in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
had 2 cases like in 2 years.
Don't give a damn, but still playing.
Yeah, I mean there was questions about Tyreek Hill. There was questions about Kareem Hunt. There was questions about like Joe Mixon. You know what I mean? Like, and Mixon's case, that was a little bit that had some nuance in it because there was the racial situation. But like he did the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's video evidence. Yeah. So. Where they pick to draw the line on this is 100% a stay in your place kind of situation, and I think that nobody's ever successfully like been able to Maybe Brian Flores, maybe the closest thing to like somebody who like had like a collusion case and it semi worked out for them. But like Kaepernick got blackballed. Eric Reed had a very young career, also cut short. People always forget to mention Eric Reed in the conversation about Colin Kaepernick. But these cases have not went well, other than maybe Brian Flores, and we can. That's still.
They just said we'll let you back in the league. You shut the fuck up, and like now it's all good. And he'll probably get a job next year. So I guess he played. And so that brings me to and Eddie. I think this will be easy for you to come in because it's less football oriented.
Hey, look, we don't have to. We don't got to put pressures on it. You know what I'm saying?
No, come on, man.
Every time you represent,
I'm constantly on this podcast fucking yapping. If y'all got some shit that everybody lines up on, get into it. But yeah, feel free to give me the fucking Fisher Price version of these topics.
This is exclusive, but actually my video may come out before you. When y'all dropping this? Next Saturday, next weekend? This will probably come out like part of this will probably come out tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so this will be a little exclusive stuff. So the video that I'm recording, God willing, after I get off with y'all, at the end of it, after I get all the white supremacy explanation shit out the way, this is low-key Deion's fault.
Josh, you know where I was the other day?
Where was you at, man?
The barbershop.
Oh shit!
It was a good experience, man. It was a good experience. We had a lot of good conversation. Talked some sports, talked some politics, talked some money moves. It was such a good conversation. I didn't really want to leave. Stayed there for a little bit. After my cut, just to chop it up a little bit. And now I can take the barbershop home with me. All right, with our memberships, whether that be via YouTube or the Patreon, you can be a part of a community that you can keep with you in your pocket. Use it as an outlet to converse, grow, thrive, learn, laugh with a bunch of like-minded individuals that kind of embody the ethos of waving the red flag. We're looking to continue to grow that community. And there are a lot of different fringe benefits as part of that. Something that we know that everybody's interested in is, long form content. So if the long form content is more your speed and you don't want to make a playlist, be a part of the community, get that benefit of those long form episodes dropped shortly after the shorter form episodes are dropped. And again, be a part of a growing, thriving community of like-minded individuals and take the barbershop home with you.
Big fact. Because we about to chop the shit out of this FD episode. So if you want the full uncut live stream and full episode, become a channel member.
Put me on the track. It's all good. It's all good. And it's an uncomfortable conversation. But as a black father, I can't help but want to pull Deion aside and be like, you set your son up for this fuckery because of your ego, low key. And like, I compare way Shedeur moves and how Deion treats Shedeur to shout out to Lil Bill. He pointed this out first. Justin, who the fuck just won the Super Bowl? Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Thank you. To Jalen Hurts. It's a meme that Jalen Hurts shows no emotion. And I'm not saying this is a good thing. I want to point this out. This is Deion's fault. I understand why he did the way he did because he felt he was great. He wanted his son to be great. He didn't kowtow to the system all the time. He wanted his son. Deion felt like he could treat his rich son, by proxy him, the same way these crackers treat their rich sons, right? Because Shedeur's problem is that he acts like every rich white son in the world. He's brash,
spoiled,
he's arrogant,
like
he's
private prep school type
exactly. He acts just like them, from what I can ascertain.
But he's still black. Stuff with him, like he's shown he's been very humble. I mean,
I like Shedeur. Shedeur is
like
arrogant.
He's not a
he's arrogant as shit.
He's arrogant to the level of a D1, a big time D1 college athlete, which is
not
yes, he is, bro.
Have y'all quarterback? We've never seen a.
You've
D1,
never seen a quarterback like this.
We've never seen.
Cam Newton wasn't like this.
No, not when he was in college. No, Cam Newton cursing niggas out on the field. Did Cam Newton have ice on the field? Did Cam Newton pull up?
It wasn't legal. It wasn't allowed then. He
couldn't have afforded it if it was allowed.
Scam Newton could. He took $800,000. His daddy took the fall. Yeah, he could. Scam Newton, and I'm saying this as a Panthers fan. Scam Newton had the money.
Listen, but we never saw Cam. I knew Shedeur was going to be a problem when they kept catching this nigga on candid cam saying out of pocket shit. When they caught him run up to the quarterback after the game, it was like, hey, nigga, you was talking that he like the quarterback. The quarterbacks are supposed to be the politicians of the team. They go, they say the political answer. Shout out to Flimlo Raps. Political answer. You know, don't piss anybody off. Stay on code. White, black, whatever. That's what the quarterback does. After the game, shake hands, stoic face, walk back to the locker room. Inside the locker room, you say whatever the fuck you want. But outside in front of other people, whatever. This nigga walked up to, I don't remember, I think it was Colorado State quarterback.
It was, because they was talking shit for real. Yeah.
Reached out and shake his hand, and it was like, you was talking shit, bitch, nigga. Like, nigga, no, you don't do that. It's cameras.
That game was, okay, so rivalry game. They coach was also talking mad shit too. The Colorado State coach was like, well, we're just here to play real football, and we don't do this Hollywood shit. Like, they made it personal. Like,
I understand,
but I get what you're saying.
The point is the standard is the standard. To shout out to I don't got enough coffee. Pittsburgh Steelers coach, because that's his line. We do not care. That classic meme trope. That's from him. Going back to Jalen Hurts, his father, I'm sure on the low said, "Don't give those crackers no reason." I guarantee you, Jalen Hurts be say cracker all day behind the scenes. Every time a white boy every time Dallas Goedert drop a pass. Every time Nick Sirianni get on his nerves, every time Roger Goodell say something slick, I know a nigga that don't fuck with white people when I see him. Because that's the only way you have that level of stoicism and discipline as a black man, is that they be the most crackered out cracker people as soon as you get behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Shedeur is popping shit wherever he feels like it, because in his mind he got it like that. And I love that for him. And I wish we lived in a world where that was fine, where Shedeur could be like the quarterback that was drafted by the Browns some years ago.
Johnny Manziel.
Not Johnny Manziel, but also he played for the Buccaneers now.
Oh.
It's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Right? Those are arrogant. I start the video off with a great comparison to Shedeur and Josh Rosen. Y'all remember his story?
Chosen Rosen, yeah, UCLA.
Chosen Rosen, UCLA, West Coast quarterback, powerful, rich father, bad attitude, not a team player. Does he love the game? All the same shit, right? But he's white, so he was the 10th overall pick.
In a bad draft.
No. No.
That was the Blaine Gabbert, like
no. That was Darnold, Mayfield, Josh Allen. He went before Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay. I'm mixing up drafts. Yeah.
That was
Lamar definitely should have went first. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The reality of the situation is, so we acknowledge the reality of white supremacy. We acknowledge that shit. But as a father, I am teaching my sons how to survive white supremacy. I'm teaching them how to survive and resist. I'm not teaching them to thrive in that motherfucker. I'm not teaching them that it's a party. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like somewhere along the line, Shedeur thought shit was sweet. Because he felt like his dad, his legendary father, and all their money would make sure he's never going to be broke. He's never going to be without the things he wants. But
he's already a millionaire.
You know? And so that probably has something to do with it too, right?
Yeah.
But this situation is a product of not being on code. When you interact, all this black excellence shit will get you killed. You interact with the system, you interact with it cynically, knowing that no matter what, the system does not fuck with you. I don't care how good you are, how many degrees you are. You smile in the face and understand the reality of the situation. You don't play these games.
Is there any appeal to the idea? Okay, so this is like a conversation that my dad had with me early on. He would always say that you can work through the system, you can work around the system, but you can never work against the system. So you can work through it by being in it and doing this, or you can sidestep it by being, underground criminal, doing something that's outside of the quote unquote system, but you can never really go directly against it. But I think some of my resistance there is, and I don't have a whole bunch of context for a lot of this conversation, but if you go, look, I'm raising my kid to hold their head high, knowing that might limit certain opportunities, but they're able to move through life proud, and that's worth more than the millions or getting drafted at the appropriate point in life or whatever it is. Is there appeal to that, or is that?
There's definitely an appeal to that, and that's Lamar Jackson, who they still shit on, who they're still racist against. Low-key, I think Lamar Jackson's a Trump supporter. I'm gonna just put that out there. I always got that vibe from him. He a Trump supporter. He ain't got no vaccines, but I just want to
he doesn't have a single vaccine.
That nigga ain't got a single vaccine. He's like, I got Florida blood in me. I don't need that shit. But so yes, that's Lamar Jackson. But so I'm just saying, you also teach them how to play the game, right? So like, I got 1 million subs right now. So if I wanted to make my son, if my son said, "Daddy, I wanted to be a Twitch streamer," I can make that happen for him, right?
Yeah, and teach him how to play the game.
And I can teach you how to play the game. And I can say, son, if you want to be like your dad and pop political shit, hey, we can do that. If you want to be like I Show Speed and Kai Cenat, you don't have to calm that shit down. Just do funny shit. And you have to decide where you stand on that as a man, as an individual. I can tell you what the reality of the environment you're entering is, and I can teach you how to persevere depending on what direction you want to go. But I'm not going to set you up for failure and say, hey, say fuck the police at the end of every video and then expect Manscaped to
is the failure here not so much that Sanders says to his son, hey, be this way, you're the best, be arrogant, whatever, fuck these white people. It's more saying that, but not saying, hey, and here's how this is going to limit your ability to move forward. Like, you need to understand there's a danger here. You can do that. Here are the consequences. And I'm saying you should do it, but here are the consequences.
Exactly. That is my opinion. Because the stories that come out, and I don't know if y'all heard because
the kid's surprised.
Yeah, Dable actually supposedly went on record recently, or somebody exposed Brian Dable, the Giants head coach. They had him as QB1 before the combine where they interviewed him. And after they interviewed him, they took him off their board. Now, that was probably still racially motivated, right? Because it probably is not hard to come off arrogant to white people as a rich, successful black man. It don't take much.
Okay, yeah.
Because if they know that about you, they're going to attribute that to you in general. Mm-hmm. So I'm still holding space for Shedeur in that regard, that he probably isn't that bad by comparison to his peers. But he should have understood how that was going to work before he entered that room. So his handlers or whoever else did not set him up for success.
And it's also, and to piggyback onto your point with the Giants, especially because there was video surfacing around, Dabble's and the way like he takes quarterbacks through his questioning when he interviews them, right? Like they had clips with like Jaden Daniels, they had clips with like Caleb Williams, they had clips with Drake May, they're clips of how he does that. There is also a clip circulating with the quarterback that they actually drafted this year, Jackson Dart, in Gruden's quarterback school. And Gruden's quarterback school is actually a very good predictor of quarterback success. Like if they tend to do well with Gruden one-on-one in those situations, they tend to be very good quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel notwithstanding, because Johnny Manziel actually had a very good Gruden's quarterback coach. But Jackson Dart looked abysmal in his interaction with Gruden, just horrible. So you took a quarter. So you can't even say like, oh, they wanted a big X's and O's guy, and like Shedeur like fucked that up and like didn't showcase how he was doing that, because the guy they took was not able to showcase that he was an X's and O's guy. I guess you could maybe say that the system that he played in Ole Miss is very similar to what the Giants are trying to do. But at the end of the day, that speculation and the actual conversations that you're having with this guy didn't showcase anything better than what Shedeur could have put together. Unless Shedeur went on there and just said like fuck the police to steal the FD line. Like I don't know what else he could have done worse than what Jackson Dart did in Gruden's quarterback camp.
Right. I also want to show Jackson Dart's, because like people are complaining about like, oh, Shedeur's draft party was this, that, and the third. And I'm trying to find video of Jackson Dart's draft party.
Maybe we can put it in post because we got to move on, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because we need to talk about this good old Uncle Shannon and the other S as well centers.
And this, I feel like this is somewhat connected.
It does seem like a handler's problem. Like I don't know. I don't know how. It seems like somebody would have told Shannon, hey, maybe some of these elements are not a good idea.
It's a red flag.